Okay, so what if an album wasn't just, for listening? What if it was actually designed to be a kind of sonic medicine specifically for our crazy modern world? Well, that's exactly the idea behind this project, GVZ720, the Rainforest Nervous System. And it's way more than just music, it's this whole conceptual experience that we're going to dive into today.
So it all boils down to this really simple but kind of profound idea. Healing is a frequency. The whole project is built on this belief that sound can literally be a tool to realign us. We're talking physically, spiritually, the whole deal. Now that's a pretty bold claim, right? So let's actually dig in and see how this is all supposed to work.
But before we can even talk about the solution, we've got to understand the problem it's trying to solve. And according to the creator of this whole thing, there is basically a fundamental war being waged on our inner state, on our nervous systems.
So take a look at this. Does any of it feel familiar? I mean, our attention is just fragmented into a million pieces, right? We've got our nervous systems totally overloaded. And according to this project, all of this has pushed our bodies into this chronic state of fight or flight. We're just constantly on high alert. And man, that takes a serious, serious toll.
Okay, so what's the prescription for all this? Well, it's not just music. The project actually calls it a sonic reset protocol. Think of it like a form of medicine. But instead of a pill, it's administered directly through your headphones. Pretty wild.
And this is a really, really crucial distinction. We're basically being asked to completely reframe our relationship with what we're listening to. The goal here isn't entertainment, it's regulation. It's all about using sound as a tool to bring our internal systems back into balance. It's functional.
So, how does it actually work? Well, this whole sonic journey is designed around some really specific mechanisms. First off, each track is mapped to one of the 7 chakras, the energy centers in the body. Then you've got these rhythms that are intentionally crafted to regulate your nervous system. Deep bass frequencies are used to literally ground your body. And even the jazz improvisations, they're meant to mimic the natural, relaxed rhythm of your own breath. Every piece has a purpose.
So you're probably wondering, how is this sound actually made? This is where things get really interesting because the whole philosophy is about blending the ancient with the super futuristic.
Yeah, they call the core philosophy ancestral tech. And what that means is it's all about fusing these timeless biological rhythms, think sounds from a rainforest, with modern tools like old-school MPC samplers. So the idea isn't to use technology to escape from nature, it's actually the opposite. It's to use it to forge an even deeper connection with it.
So let's break down the core DNA of this sound. It all starts with the incredible polyrhythms of Afrobeat, pioneered by the legend Fela Kuti. But then, that's filtered through the dusty, gritty sound of an Akai MPC sampler, a total hip-hop classic. Then, on top of that, you layer real rainforest field recordings, some analog jazz textures, and then you fracture the whole thing with glitch hop time signatures. It is a wild, fascinating combination.
Okay, so you put all that together. What does it actually sound like? What does it feel like to listen to? Well, the sonic style of this treatment, as they call it, is super, super specific.
It all kicks off with those Afrobeat polyrhythms. That complex, interlocking pulse is the rhythmic heart of the whole project. But, and this is a big but, this is not a revival. No, it's a total reinterpretation. The tempo gets slowed way down, so the rhythms become slower, heavier, almost hypnotic. The goal here isn't to get you up and dancing, it's to pull you inward, to get you to focus.
And then, on top of that heavy rhythm, you've got these melodic layers. You'll hear jazz horns, but they're not sharp or punchy. Instead, they're designed to feel like they're just dissolving. It creates this amazing wash of sound that really adds to the whole dreamlike quality.
And this is maybe the wildest part. Even the digital glitches, the stuff we normally call an error, they're reframed here as trauma releasing. The sound is intentionally breaking apart and then reforming, which is meant to sonically mimic the process of healing. It's a really cool idea.
And the whole thing sits in this really specific tempo range, 70 to 95 beats per minute. Now, why that number? Well, that's often seen as a really calming tempo, right around a resting heart rate, which just reinforces that meditative but still focused state they're going for.
So all of this creates this really cool, intentional duality in the mood. On one hand, it's totally meditative. It's calm, it's hypnotic. But on the other hand, it's almost militant. The rhythms are strong, they're powerful, they're intentional. They're built not just for finding peace, but for building up your own internal strength and resilience.
And this all comes together as a journey, moving right up through the chakra system. It starts at the root, with a track called Drums in the Mud, all heavy kicks and earth tones, totally grounding. Then you move up to the sacral with River Memory, which has this fluid percussion and these sensual bass lines. Next, the solar plexus, Sun Through Smoke, starts to build energy with these horn stabs. Then we get to the heart, Green Frequency, with warm chords and really emotional samples. The throat is explored with lost transmissions, think spoken word, distorted voices. The third eye, Glitch Vision, gets super experimental, with abstract jazz. And finally, it all culminates at the crown with Rain Above Time, where the whole structure just dissolves into pure ambiance. It's an incredibly deliberate and thoughtful progression from start to finish.
And you know, this whole conceptual approach, it doesn't just stop with the music. Not at all. The project's visual identity and its totally unique release strategy are just as important to the whole experience. The visuals really do a perfect job of mirroring the sound. You've got this grainy, old-school VHS jungle footage, and it's blended with these thermal camera shots of human bodies. You see glitchy overlays and sacred geometry, and that's all juxtaposed with these dark, moody shots of the MPC pads glowing. And the one thing that ties it all together? Rain. It's this constant visual motif.
The way they're releasing it is also completely unconventional. So first you have these field transmissions, just short, raw clips of the creator making beats out in the rain, sampling the environment. Then there are self-healing sessions, which are literally versions of tracks titled for specific uses, like listen during anxiety or to help you sleep. And then there are these frequency drops, where tracks might change a little bit or even disappear entirely after 48 hours, which creates this incredible sense of urgency and impermanence.
So ultimately, the entire point of this project is captured in this one line. It's asking you to basically forget everything you think you know about listening to music. Because this isn't about entertainment. It's about using sound as a form of technology to regulate your own internal state.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on, right? If music can be medicine, then what's the prescription that you need? What would your own personal healing frequency even sound like?